Theatre is a return to your roots. You spent years on stage before we got to know you as the iconic Sister Michael in Derry Girls, and that role won you a BAFTA last month. Congrats again. What was that whole experience like?
I keep forgetting about it, and I'll be walking down Pana and going, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Actually, funnily enough, I was just talking to somebody from the Opera House there, and they were like, surely you got a heads up that you'd won. I'm like, no, it was a complete and utter shock. And I didn't expect I didn't expect to win, not at all. So it was utterly shocking. I still haven't properly processed it, but you know, I'm very grateful for it. Please don't take it away.
Whenever I interview actors, you know, they always talk about, you know, it's the work that matters and the awards are just kind of a nice thing after. But that must have been such a moment for you, or even now, to be like, yeah, this is, and that was class.
Totally, it's really class. And like, it's, you know, a BAFTA is something I've always wanted to have or to be nominated for. I never thought I'd win, but I always thought, because a BAFTA, it's sort of like there's a panel of, you know, you don't know who votes for you. It's not a general public thingy, because we know in certain referenda we shouldn't trust them.
The public cannot be trusted.
But this is sort of a small panel, and you never have any idea who's on it or what way they're going to vote or anything. So it feels great, I must admit. Look, it is all about the work, but I would be lying if I said that it's not really lovely to have it. It's there in my flat over in London, sort of grinning at me every time I wake up, yeah.
Sister Michael obviously became a fan favourite over the years, but what was your first impression of her when the script landed in your lap?
I can't really remember. Like, you have to remember, we had no idea that it was going to be this big, you know? Otherwise you'd start, this is the first moment I am encountering this character. I must remember what my first impressions are so I can carry that, you know, to how many years later when you've been asked to. I remember understanding her completely, and I remember after the fact, a couple of years later, somebody saying, I think it was Lisa or maybe Liz, saying that like she should have been, not she should have been, but a lot of people initially thought that she should have been older, and Lisa and I both agreed that this woman came out of the womb as cranky and as grumpy and as cynical as she was.
What is it about Derry Girls that resonates so much with not just people in Ireland, but people across the world? Because it really found this new global audience when it came to streaming. And in some ways, it shouldn't have, because it's so niche, it's so Irish, and yet you have people all over the world talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It obviously shows a disconnect to what we think will be a success. I personally think if you have good writing, and if you have, I mean, it's a very specific situation, but it's done with such immense detail and authenticity that it speaks to everybody's situation, really. I also think that we've been fed perhaps a lie that certain programs will not do well. How you know, we were told the all-female Ghostbusters was going to be a disaster. It turned out to be an incredibly high-grossing movie. But that doesn't fit the narrative, does it? We're told that a young female-led comedy set in the north of Ireland during the 90s will not be a success, and yet we've been proved otherwise. Maybe there's something with our received ideas rather than the facts that are out there. Maybe we need more all-female Ghostbusters, and maybe we need more Derry Girls. Cork Girls, maybe.
Cork Girls, yes. So you know the way like Westlife are huge in Asia, right? Have you had that moment with Sister Michael firsthand, like in somewhere far flung in the world?
Westlife huge?
Oh, they're massive. Yeah, I don't have the stats to hand, but like I know colloquially of people being places, like Irish people, and they're in the shop and then they just hear coast to coast and they're like, what is going on?
That's brilliant. I get a lot of messages from India.
Okay.
Which I always find surprising, but they particularly love Sister Michael. It must be something to do with their educational system there. Everywhere. I was in the States recently, and that was random because it seems to have gone down a treat there as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of my favourite Sister Michael moments is when we found out that her full name is Sister George Michael. Of course, iconic. Do you think George himself would have approved?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
100%.
I think. I mean, there's been quite a few documentaries about George recently, and it's just confirmed certainly the idea I had of him as being a really sound, no nonsense fella, and I think also somebody who was not afraid to be grumpy in his time. So I hope that he would approve of the name. I know that she wouldn't give a damn whether he approved or not, but I like to think that he would approve. Siobhán likes to think that he would have approved.
And then when it comes to Sister Michael's go-to karaoke song then, what do you reckon? Is it Faith or is she a freedom girl? I kind of think freedom. I think if you got her on a good day.
Freedom.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's more freedom, yeah.
Certainly mine anyway, certainly mine.
Maybe Let's Go Outside.
Fast love? Who knows? Anyway. We left the girls and Sister Michael in 1998 on the week of the Good Friday Agreement. But what do you think they're all doing now in 2023?
Great question. I mean, we left them at a perfect moment of hope, really, didn't we? It's hard to sort of feel that hope at the moment and to feel the legacy of that time and what people fought for. It's hard to see where they would be. I don't know, I feel a little bit, I hope they wouldn't be disappointed. I think Sister Michael would be very disappointed in the way things have turned out, in the way that the young women she would have begrudgingly taught have ended up being abandoned by their leaders. But who knows, maybe, who knows what'll have happened. It'll be down to, Lisa will know better than I than where they'd be now.
The show was such a platform for yourself, the rest of the girls, even look at Nicola Coughlan, went on to star in Bridgerton and get even more fame from that. And she's due to star in the upcoming Barbie movie, which is so exciting. Derry Girls just seemed like such a tight-knit crew. So is it a case of you're all watching each other from the sidelines and cheering each other on?
Aunt Sarah is currently house sitting for me over in London. I'm good friends with Tara Lynn, who played Ma Mary. Of course, Peter Campion, Father Peter, and I are great pals. Louise, I just finished doing a show literally a day before I went back into rehearsals for this, finished the show Dancing at Lunasa, another play over in the UK. And Nick and I are continuously in touch. So yeah, there are a lot of friendships that have lasted.
We're here at the Cork Opera House in Cork City. You can see everything out before us. I love it. How do you think growing up in Cork shaped you into the actor you are today?
Crikey. I don't know. I think the thing in Cork is that, we all think we're a bit too cool for school, so nobody's really impressed by anything. So the idea of becoming an actor, yeah, big deal. So what? It's sort of, I don't think I don't think I'd ever lose the run of myself, shall we say, and that's because I've come from Cork, really.
Yeah, no, you can't.
I wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say you're not allowed.
I wouldn't be allowed, and I don't think I'd have the inclination anyway.
I love it. Before we go, as we are in Cork, the best county, I do want to ask you some quick fire questions, if you don't mind. Best place for a pint?
Oh, crikey. I can't, because then I won't be allowed into the other ones. I had a good pint recently up in Maureen's, and of course the Corner House is a great place for the pint, and I love a bit of music listening with my pint in the Chennai. So they're the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Please allow me into the other pubs. I'll behave, I promise.
Best place to get the shift?
Oh my God!
I'm here with the big questions.
Isn't it all online shifts now, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to tell me, Fionnuala. Where would you recommend?
God, I'm trying to think. I grew up kissing in the Peace Park, and I'm not really sure if I should be recommending